When we last left our heroes, we found that they were trying to awaken the druids because they forgot to set an alarm clock and obviously overslept for 10,000 years or something. That's pretty bad. Anyway, the best way to head is just keep going down. There are paths to the left and the right where you can collect a few items, but nothing too amazing. Just basically keep heading south until you meet some spiders, kill the spiders, keep heading down, kill more spiders. There's a massive nest. Try and keep your archers and spellcasters in the back. And your heroes, probably best to give them like most of the force of any attacks because they have loads of health and they heal really fast. And yeah, there's no point. And of course, the quicker you level up, the quicker Furion will get his tranquil something spell. It heals everything in like a certain radius of him. Also, another thing you might want to try is you see these mushrooms around. You can use them to summon treants, which is always useful. Before you actually get to the spider's nest though, you'll find there are more paths to the left and the right where you can kill some more creeps. And I would actually suggest killing them, mostly because for the experience value. And of course you can also break open eggs and find some items in there too, just like boxes. When you do get to the spider's nest, expect a long and hard battle. There are quite a few of the big purple ones, and a lot of the spitting ones which can poison your men. Send your treants in first. Don't worry if you lose any units really, because the first part of the mission, once you get to the next part of the mission, you'll be given more units anyway, even if you had lost them. So yeah, once you kill all the spiders, break open a few eggs, find any items you might want. Just head south and find some furbolgs. They want you to do an optional quest which involves going to a fountain of health and getting some water for their shaman. I'd suggest doing it and giving the item they give you to Tyrande, because those furbolgs you find will come in useful later. The fountain of health is located up here. It's surrounded by a few mooks. Nothing too difficult. Right, so that's the first part of the mission over. Around the path from the Bare Necessities quest, head south. And eventually you'll start a cinematic with Tyrande and Furion splitting apart. You'll start the Furion quest and you've got to head east to basically awaken the druids while Tyrande goes and frees Illidan. Be careful of ghosts because they have a tendency to take control of your units like banshees do for the undead. They can be quite annoying because they will always go for your damn spellcasters, won't they? Not that that's actually too problematic. I'll tell you why in a minute. Anyway, activate this little circle of power here, go across the bridge, summon more treants, and kill the watchers. It's all pretty standard. And just before the bridge you can find a path up north which you've got a few kobolds which you can kill. There's also one other trick that I've never spoken about before because, well, I've never had to talk about it. But if you ever find yourself in a battle with a lot of really strong, really tough enemies like this, make sure you have batteries in your mouse. Or at least make sure the batteries in your mouse aren't flat. You'll find that the ability to micromanage is rather impeded when you're not able to move the pointer. Yeah, so me and my idiocy lost nearly all of those units before I was able to replace the batteries. But it turns out Furion's actually strong enough to deal with pretty much everything on this map on his own. The Watchers dropped a clause of attack +9, which I'm just picking up. And to the south here you'll find a fountain of mana. Head north, kill the dragons or don't, run past them, whatever. You'll find the Druids of the Bear are already awake, but they've gone insane, so you can't kill them. Run past them. Some of the bears don't attack you no matter what, but some of them will automatically seek you out if you get too close to them. So, you can use Entangle. But as I said earlier, it doesn't matter if your spellcasters get killed anyway, because you'll be given 2 right at the end of the cutscene. Their Cyclone's good for dealing with the bears as well. But if you don't want to kill everything on the path and just want to run past it, you can do. None of the spiders really drop any decent items. There is another fountain of mana around, but there's nothing really else on this path. You will come across 2 bears at one point, which you can't get past because they're sleeping. You will have to cyclone one of them at least, or entangle one and wake it up and get him to chase you if you're that desperate. But you can pick up a little item for that gives you 3 cyclones if you need it, near the other fountain of mana. Anyway, run round, break this door open, and then just start the cutscene once you get to the circle of power, and then control will be transferred to Tyrande. So once you get control of Tyrande, grab all your people and start to head towards the gate. There's a watcher, there's a couple of watchers up here, an owlbear and 2 night elf guards. The gate will need to be opened by a switch, one's to the north and one's to the south. The switch to the north is guarded by a lot of owlbears. If you're having any trouble and you find that they're doing too much damage to your huntresses or archers or to even Tyrande, don't forget Tyrande's Starfall can be very useful, as it does like 30 damage every time it comes down. It lasts 30 seconds or something. But try not to have Tyrande at the front of the group being attacked by the big one, because his slam or stun, whatever, will stop Starfall from working, which can be annoying. Try and keep as many of your people alive as you can, as the Fountain of Health in this mission is quite a way away. So you'll need to manage your stuff. There are some healing wards here. That's why I also suggest going to the north one first, is to pick those up. So use your healing wards, heal your men, activate the switch that's here, and then head round to the other side to deal with the watchers, and then switch that switch. And just south of the southern switch, you can find some archers and another huntress to take with you. So head through the gate you've just opened, and head round the path. You'll find this little opening there with some sleeping watchers. You don't have to kill the watchers that are sleeping, but I like to anyway, because, well, murdering people in their sleep is always fun. Anyway, if you crack open the door there, your huntresses will now be given an upgraded glaze, which act like Mutalisk's attacks from StarCraft. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, up this path is another quite strong owlbear. He's not too hard to take down. Breaking open the doors will give you a few new archers and a wolf and a huntress. Because, you know, prisoners always make the best allies. In the top left prison you'll find a box that if you break open will give you a parry of health. Leave it where it is for now, but come and collect it later after you've summoned the Furbolg, so you've freed up an inventory space. Heading north, you'll find a waygate, and heading through that, you'll find a fountain of health that can be useful if you hadn't already had healing wards. Anyway, to the south here, there's a prison and a couple of, a few creeps, but if you break open the prison, you'll be given some goblin landmines. They expect you to use them when dealing with the bit later where you have owlbears running around in a circle, but I would suggest getting rid of that Claws Attack +3, getting rid of the last healing ward, and taking the goblin landmines with you, because they'll be useful the next time we see Tyrande. Yeah, so if you continue following the path round, as I said, there's a bit where owlbears keep running around. If you just, attack it and then separate it from the group, and then, hell, even if you just run down there with all your men, you can still find yourself having no problem dealing with any of these owlbears. Because they're only like level 4 or something, they're quite weak. So, take the path round, if you get stuck with any cat owlbears, and then head through this arch, where this guy called Califax, who's probably one of Maya of Shadowsong's subordinates, tries to stop you. You've got to defeat him, so run in there with all your might and all your Furbolgs, and have at it. Keep Tyrande in the back and you start. You really shouldn't. I mean, the amount I managed to keep everyone alive, so now once he's dead, that'll be the end of the mission.
Illidan, is that you?
Tyrande.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
I tell you what, if you break down these mushrooms here, just before you get to the spider's nest, you can come across this.
Who lives in the east neath the willow tree? Sexual harassment. Panda who explains sexual harassment to you and me. Sexual harassment. and
He's a pretty tough battle, yes, but if you keep your trains at the front, you won't have any problem. He does drop a necklace of spell immunity when he dies, which is very useful. Here's something weird, right? If you break down these mushrooms here, just before you get to the split-off point, you'll find this little secret area with, like, 4 boxes in it. But that's it. It's just 4 boxes. If you break one of them open, you do find a sheep, but there's absolutely nothing else in this area. I'm not sure why it was put in. Because the sheep doesn't give you anything if it dies, so weird. Alright, here's another one. Break down the trees just before you cross the light bridge, and you'll be able to find this little area with a couple of mooks. But there's also another bit where you can break down more trees and be walked across the map to fight a frost revenant who will drop a robe of the Magi, which is +6 to your intelligence, which is pretty cool. Though if you go through the waygate, he will chase you and then he'll run away. So you'll have to chase him. Once you've taken control of Tyrande, you can find a little door you can break open. This is before you get to the southern switch to open the gate. If you go through there, you can find some watchers in here to kill these guys, and then break open another door at the top of the room. Head through there, and you'll find something you can destroy to give you a Tome of Knowledge, which is +1 to all your stats for Tyrande. You can also find the Shrine of the Uber Fish, just before you get to that bit where the owlbears are running round and round. There isn't really much in there apart from a Mantle of Intelligence +3. Pick it up if you want, but in my opinion it's not all that useful.